When the gods too. When Nusku heard this, he took up his weapons, bowed in the assembly of the great gods, then stood and told them, your father Anu, your counselor warrior Enlil, your chamberlain Ninurta and your canal controller Anuji have sent me to say, who is in charge of the rabble? Who is in charge of the fighting? Which god started the war? A rabble was running around Enlil's door. Ea made his voice heard and spoke to the gods his brothers, why are we blaming them? Their work was too hard, their trouble was too much. Every day the earth resounded. The warning signal was loud enough, we kept hearing the noise. There is. Bilatili the womb goddess is present, let her create a mortal man so that he may bear the yoke. So that he may bear the yoke, the work of Enlil, let man bear the load of the gods. Bilatili the womb goddess is present, let the womb goddess create offspring, and let them bear the load of the gods. They called up the goddess, asked the midwife of the gods, wise mommy, you are the womb goddess, to be the creator of mankind. Create a mortal, that he may bear the yoke. Let him bear the yoke, the work of Enlil, let him bear the load of the gods. Nintu made her voice heard and spoke to the great gods, on the 1st, 7th, and 15th of the month I shall make a purification by washing. Then one god should be slaughtered. And the gods can be purified by immersion. Nintu shall mix the clay with his flesh and blood. Then a god and a man will be mixed together in clay. Let us hear the drum beat forever after. Let a ghost come into existence from the god's flesh, let her proclaim it as her living sign, and let the ghost exist so as not to forget the slain god. They answered yes in the assembly. The great Anunnaki who assigned the fates on the 1st, 7th, and 15th of the month, he made a purification by washing. Gishtoi, a god who had intelligence, they slaughtered in their assembly. Nintu mixed clay with his flesh and blood. They heard the drum beat forever after. A ghost came into existence from the god's flesh, and she proclaimed it as his living sign. The ghost existed so as not to forget the slain god. After she had mixed that clay, she called up the Anunnaki, the great gods. The Agigi, the great gods, spat spittle upon the clay. Mami made her voice heard and spoke to the great gods, I have carried out perfectly the work that you ordered of me. You have slaughtered a god together with his intelligence. I have relieved you of your hard work, I have imposed your load on man. You have bestowed noise on man, you have bestowed noise on mankind. I have undone the fetter and granted freedom. They listened to the speech of hers, and were freed from anxiety, and kissed her feet. We used to call you Mommy, but now your name shall be Mistress of all gods. Far-sighted Enki and wise Mami went into the room of fate. The womb goddesses were assembled. He trod the clay in her presence, she kept reciting an incantation, for Enki, staying in her presence, made her recite it. When she had finished her incantation, she pinched off 14 pieces of clay, and set 7 pieces on the right, 7 on the left. Between them she put down a mud brick. She made use of a reed, opened it to cut the umbilical cord, called up the wise and knowledgeable womb goddesses, 7 and 7. 7 created males, 7 created females, for the womb goddess is creator of fate. He, them 2 by 2, them 2 by 2 in her presence. Mommy made these rules for people. In the house of a woman who is giving birth, the mud brick shall be put down for 7 days. Bilatili, wise mommy shall be honored. The midwife shall rejoice in the house of the woman who gives birth, and when the woman gives birth to the baby, the mother of the baby shall sever herself. A man to a girl, her bosom a beard can be seen on a young man's cheek. In gardens and waysides a wife and her husband choose each other. The womb goddesses were assembled and Nintu was present. They counted the months, called up the 10th month as the term of fates. When the 10th month came, she slipped in a staff and opened the womb. Her face was glad and joyful. She covered her head, performed the midwifery, put on her belt, said a blessing. She made a drawing in flour and put down a mud brick. I myself created it, my hands made it. The midwife shall rejoice in the house of the goddess to priestess. Whenever a woman gives birth and the baby's mother severs herself, the mud brick shall be put down for 9 days. Nintu the womb goddess shall be honored. She shall call there, mommy she shall, the womb goddess, lay down the linen cloth. When the bed is laid out in their house, a wife and her husband shall choose each other. Inanna shall rejoice in the wife-husband relationship in the father-in-law's house. Celebration shall last for 9 days, and they shall call Inanna Ishhara. On the 15th day, the fixed time of fate she shall call. A man. Clean the home. The son to his father. They sat and he was carrying. He saw. Elil. They took hold of. Made new picks and spades, made big canals, to feed people and sustain the gods. 600 years, less than 600, passed, and the country was as noisy as a bellowing bull. The god grew restless at their racket. Elil had to listen to their noise. He addressed the great gods, the noise of mankind has become too much, I am losing sleep over their racket. Give the order that Surupu disease shall break out. Now there was one Atrahasis whose ear was open to his god Enki. He would speak with his god and his god would speak with him. Atrahasis made his voice heard and spoke to his lord, how long will the gods make us suffer? Will they make us suffer illness forever? Enki made his voice heard and spoke to his servant, call the elders, the senior men. Start an uprising in your own house, let the heralds proclaim. Let them make a loud noise in the land, do not revere your gods, do not pray to your goddesses, but search out the door of Namtara. Bring as baked loaf into his presence. May the flour offerings reach him. May he be shamed by the presence and wipe away his hand. Atrahasis took the order, gathered the elders to his door. Atrahasis made his voice heard and spoke to the elders, I have called the elders, the senior men. Start an uprising in your own house, let the heralds proclaim. Let them make a loud noise in the land, do not revere your gods, do not pray to your goddesses, but search out the door of Namtara. Bring as baked loaf into his presence. May the flour offerings reach him. May he be shamed by the presence and wipe away his hand. The elders listened to his speech, they built a temple for Namtara in the city. Heralds proclaimed. They made a loud noise in the land. They did not revere their God, they did not pray to their goddess, but searched out the door of Namtara, brought a baked loaf into his presence. The flour offerings reached him. And he was shamed by the presence, and wiped away his hand. The Surapya disease left them. The gods went back to their regular offerings.